Hi, everybody. Sandy here. It's Fridays with Sandy. We've got a terrifically interesting candidate. Mr. Candidate, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and what you're doing now, uh, and anything else that might be interesting in a short period of time. Take it away.
Right, right. My name is Simon Okujo. I'm from Ghana and I work in the financial sector in Ghana for a brokerage firm called Blackstar Brokerage. And I work as head of securities trading for Blackstar Brokerage. I've been working for them for about 6 years. Blackstar Brokerage is one of the leading investment banking firms in Ghana. I would say it's part of the top two. And I think currently they have about an average revenue of about 4 million yearly. So I believe it's one of the top in Ghana.
Okay, let me. Are you sure? Is that number right? The revenue is 4 million. That seems pretty tiny, since some of the deals you worked on seem to make that. We're involved in that.
Right. So, of course, the market over here isn't that big, and I guess the fees on those transactions are not that big. And the market is evolving. It's very young. Started in 2015. So it's not as big as in other developed countries. So
I know that, but one of the things you say is you led a trading team to execute trades of over 5 billion volume of debt securities in 36 months.
Yes.
Oh, what was your firm's fee for that?
So we don't have a fixed fee, and in fixed income trading, we have something called spread. So it depends on the nature of the security you're trading at a particular point in time, and it also depends on the price differences. So it's usually between the buy and sell, the difference between buy and sell. That's what ends up as your profit. So it's not a fixed fee. It's just based on negotiations.
It wouldn't have to be much of a spread, but the number we're dealing with is 5 billion, right?
Yeah, 5 billion volume over the time period stated. Yeah.
Okay, be prepared to explain that on an interview. You seem to understand it, and if you're lucky, your interviewer will understand it. The revenue just seems the 4 million is the number that strikes me as very small, given that you're involved in deals with 5 billion. I understand.
Yeah.
That 5 billion doesn't go to you, but man.
Exactly. Yeah. So that the 5 billion is like the volume of activities you will do, right? So that's the volume of activities we did, and the fee you have to calculate it on the cost of the activities, which sometimes it is really small, but then you have to do a lot more to be able to generate enough. Revenue.
Okay, let me say that we'll leave this. Okay, just take my advice and get it real clear.
Sure.
You said that the revenue was 4 million, not the profit, the revenue.
Right.
Okay, let's leave it at that. This could be a very good interview question, and in fact, it certainly will be. What do you want your classmates to know about Ghana?
Well, Ghana is a very hospitable country. Like, a lot of the people here are very friendly. Anyone who has visited Ghana will tell you Ghanaians, receive people warmly. We have a very good environment. We don't have a lot of crime cases, which maybe when you compare to other countries, ours is very low. You can easily move around as an expat without anyone chasing you to steal your bag or anything like that. Then also we have a lot of tourist sites, especially slave dungeons, because Ghana is one of the countries where slaves were shipped out of Africa. So a lot of black.
Okay, you're giving us a tourist view. One of the things your classmates are interesting is what's the form of government, what's the business environment, and what's the stability. And let me say something. You can start by telling us where it is. I apologize for my own ignorance.
Okay, so Ghana is in the West Africa, part of what is one of the West African countries. The business environment is a lot more private sector driven. We have growing service sector, and our GDP is largely dominated by the agri sector. However, the service sector is growing now because there are a lot of opportunities that I believe people are now taking advantage of. And one of the service sector that is growing rapidly is the financial sector. Aside that, I think we have good tax system that really encourages businesses to set up in Ghana.
Another thing you should mention, if people, when you are asked to give this 2-minute introduction of Ghana, is it landlocked or is it on the coast?
Well, we are certainly on the coast, so we have some of the region that's closer to the coast, and I'm from the coastal region, and we have moving to the northern part, which is a bit away from the coast. So we have the western and the southern parts, which are mostly closer to the coast.
Yeah, you're doing okay. I'd work this up. It's a question you're going to get asked for real. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's the question. Give me a roadmap of your career after business school. What job would you want right after you graduate, and then after that, and then, what do you see yourself at the height of your career? Are you interested in becoming a politician and a leader?
Right. So after MBA, my immediate goal would be to work as an associate in any of those top investment banking firms like JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citibank. The objective is to get
would you want to do that? Would you want to do that in Europe, Africa, or maybe US?
I'll prefer between US and Europe. And my reason is I'm just looking to get a global experience that hopefully when I return in about maybe 5 years after working over there, I should be able to bring a lot more innovation into the Ghanaian market, which is very young. And that is also the reason why I'm looking forward to work with multinational institutions like the IMF or IFC, where they focus on providing financial support.
So let's say you graduate from business school, you get a job with JP Morgan in London. What's your next move?
So hopefully I'll get to work there for minimum of 5 years. And within that period, I look forward to get a lot more global experience and build a global network. Then after that, I'm looking forward to come.
I'm not sure of this. I throw it out to our readers. I don't think you need 5 years. I think you can optimize the investment banking experience in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
After 5 years, the bank starts expecting you to become an investment banker and not one of those interesting, smart people who are passing through.
Right.
They expect you to become those boring people who actually stay and become it. People like them,
Yeah.
But I'm just throwing that out there. People might do. Okay.
So I guess maybe I can reduce it to a 3-year.
Sure.
My focus is, so I'm looking at 2 options. It's either I get to work with a multinational companies or institutions that focus on providing financial services support to African governments or African private sector, or I come back to Ghana and set up a firm that would leverage a lot more on my global network to provide innovative financial solutions to the Ghanaian market. I think that's what we are lacking now.
You're talking way out there now, right?
Right.
Let's start with, you graduate from business school. What do you want to do?
So when I graduate from business school, what I'm looking to do is to work with top investment banking firm in either US or the Europe, like JP Morgan, Citibank, or Bank of America, and hopefully work there for minimum of maybe 3 years with the intention of gaining enough global experience and network that hopefully I can use it to pursue my long-term career goal of coming back to provide financial services in Africa.
What's your next year? Yeah. But you've gone from the end of your first job to the height of your career. We're missing the middle there. What are you going to do after JP Morgan, let's say?
So after JP Morgan, I'm looking forward to either work with an international institution that focuses on providing financial support or providing financial advisory services.
Classically, the IMF, right?
Yes, exactly. IMF or IFC, which are a lot more focused on developing nations.
Do you know people who work there?
No, I don't.
Well, it's a good way. I would sniff around. You know what schmooze means? It's network. It's the Yiddish word for networking. I would try and go to their forums. I would make friends with your professors, and I would start networking as soon as you got to business school. I would start networking.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's what that world is about. It's more about that than, in some ways, even your grades. But I would also get your grades up too. So what would be after, let's say you go to the IMF, what would you do there? What would ideally?
So at IMF, I'm looking forward to work in a department that focuses on providing financial support or financial advice to developing countries, governments, and also the private sector in developing countries. So,
that's perfect. Just find out about it. You meet people who do that, man. It's easy. And one of the most important things you got to do is network. Business school is hard, I know that, and the GMAT is hard, but networking is critical. Okay, you're a friendly guy. You're a well-spoken guy. You've got a very interesting background. You should start networking. I'm just giving you this lecture. You may be doing this already. You seem like a smart guy, but for all our viewers, for our millions of viewers, Sandy's advice, particularly if you want to work for these, friendly NGOs, is network, network, network. Good. Tell me about what you do as Black Star Group, the leading investment bank in Ghana. Well, yeah, sometimes they say, tell me what you did yesterday.
Right. So,
and I don't mean get on a plane. I mean, tell me what you did your last working day.
Yeah. So I think one of the major footprints for me at Black Star is when I joined Black Star in 2018. They didn't have the license to do the business activity we are doing now. So I was the first employee, which started with them with acquiring the license. And because of my experience from—
Where did it come from? Who was this? Government guys who founded it, or expats, or people outside investors? Who were the head people at the Black Star Group?
So it's an old company. The group itself is an old company, but the subsidiary I work for, started its operation in 2018, late 2018. And the people who formed it have, worked in some of the Wall Street companies, and they came back to set up the Black Star Group. But the trading department, which I lead, started operation in 2018.
Do you trade on, like the big board, or or is there a market in Ghana or Africa?
Yeah.
What markets do you trade on?
Yeah, so the primary market I trade on is the Ghana fixed income market, which started operation in 2015. Then another market, which is for stocks and equities, is the Ghana Stock Exchange, which has been around for over 32 years. Then we also have access to trade on the Eurobond markets, which has securities listed from other, sub-Saharan African countries and even some of the emerging countries. So these three markets are where we trade on.
Let me just interrupt here. That's great stuff. Business schools love that. They would love experience. They would love people who are experienced in, non-traditional trading markets. Not the NASDAQ or the big board. They like them too, but they particularly they would view you as being able to add a lot to any discussion in a business school that involves trading or regulation. You could bring another eye to it. And I'm telling you this, and I'm telling other people with similar backgrounds. I would highlight that as you present yourself to the business school,
Right.
as to what you could offer. I've got experience in developing stock market exchanges and traditional ones, and particularly I've got experience in developing and established companies in Africa.
Right.
They would love to hear that, man.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Do you know people from the Black? I may have asked this. Do people from the Black Star Group, either in Ghana or any place else, do they typically apply to European or North American business schools?
Yeah, so I currently have 4 of my colleagues who are in various business schools in the US. One of them recently got admitted to Darden, a female. One of them is part of the batch for 2024 for Carlson. And I have another colleague who is at Washington State University. Then I have another one at Georgetown. So 4 of my colleagues.
Yeah. Well, as to the people at Georgetown and the woman who at Darden, did they have things that are dramatically different than you? I mean,
no, I wouldn't say they have anything dramatically different from me, because we started off working with Black Star virtually the same year. For the lady in Darden, for example, we both took the CFA level 1, so we both have CFA level 1. She, I believe, was able to get waivers on the standard test because she did quantitative course for undergrad, and I believe maybe her GPA was a bit higher than mine. But I didn't get the waiver, and I have to write the exams.
Yeah, so she's a good comp, as they say in the security analysis business, wouldn't you? Yeah. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so that answers the question. You're friendly with her? I would. You in touch with her? I would. She can help. Yes, I mean, she can help you just by being a friend, but she might also be able to lobby for you. She may know someone at Darden, and she might say, a pal of mine from Black Star Group in Ghana is applying.
Right.
And that guy would be the professor might be very interested. He would, who is it?
Right.
You never know where things end.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I think you're going to get into Keenan Flagler. Boy, I think you're going to get into Ross and Darden too. All the only boo-boo is your low grades in college. What's the explanation for that?
Right. So I think the honest truth to that is, so I took a course that I'm not good at, which is the sociology and social work. I'm a bit more of the figures person, right? So when in my senior high school, I did courses in accounting, economics, business management, then went to university and I had to take courses in sociology, social work, which were a bit different from what I'm used to. So I really struggled for a lot of the semesters, but getting to the end of the semester, I think the last 3 semesters.
Okay, so that's one logical question. Did the GPA go up year by year?
Yes, it did. It did go up during the last 3 semesters, and they were above. So it averaged 3.3, but unfortunately, it was a bit too late for me to really move the GPA out. And when you go to
but they want to hear that. Just say your story is it. I'd like to address my GPA because I know it's important. It's not a predictor of how I'm going to do at your place for a number of reasons. Number one, it took me a while to find my way, and my GPA, even in college, began to go up. even though the total GPA is 2.95, my GPA, my last 2 years was whatever it is. More important, in graduate school, where I got an MS in international accounting and financial management, I graduated with a 3.75 and with distinction, or cum laude, as they say. So that would be your story.
Yeah.
And they'll just lay it out like that. They'll buy it.
Right.
It's true.
Right. Right.
Do you ever think of applying to schools like maybe Wharton or even HBS?
Yes, that's why taking the standard test is very important to me, because I believe if I'm able to get a high score, I should be able to apply to those top schools and not limit myself to UNC and
Yeah, the schools you're applying to are terrific, and your dreams can come true there. Going to Wharton or Harvard is just what's your job in business school? I already told you this, but I want to see if you remember.
Yeah, so my job in
networking.
Business,
Networking.
Networking, so, yes, exactly. Networking.
So Wharton and Harvard are just very fertile places to network, as are Keenan, Flagler, Darden, and Ross. But if you took the standardized test and got I think all you need is 80% on both sides. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you did that, you'd stand a chance at Harvard and Wharton and even Stanford. Boy, Stanford really goes for guys like you, and they're very interested in Africa.
Right. Do you mind if I ask this? So I'm also thinking of applying to London Business School, and my reason is because I have an MS from the UK. I believe they can relate a bit more to my UK degree as well and see the significance of it. I don't know what you think about that.
I think if you were interested in applying to London Business School, I don't think it's all that hard to get in. I would ask myself, why do I want to? In a fair way, I got nothing. It's a great place. It'd be a great place for you, particularly because it's closer to Africa and Europe, obviously. So I would just ask myself, why do I want to go here? There is something about getting the United States experience. Have you ever spent much time in the United States?
No, I've never been to the United States before.
Well, there's a lot to be said for just knowing the States and making contacts there. But London Business School is a great place. Okay.
Right.
Emmanuel, I'm very impressed. I think your chances at Keenan, Flagler, and Darden and Ross are very good. You've got the boo-boo of the 295, which we're going to explain, but you do have a 375 in your graduate record. So
yeah,
you're giving them, if they want to be on your side, they'll go, look, we're not really taking a super risk with this guy. The guy's got a 375 from University of East Anglia in Norwich Business School in the UK. He can do this stuff. So you're real solid.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Great talking to you, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Good luck.
Adios. Shalom.
Bye.
And goodbye.